Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome to Into the Breach Advanced Edition. This is a great big update for Into the Breach, timed to coincide with its release onto more platforms. I think it's out on mobile now. I'm going to level with you. I did not read that part of the announcement very carefully because I knew I was going to play it here with all of you. So if you're not familiar with Into the Breach, this is a giant robots fighting space bugs tactics / puzzle game that came out in 2018. And if you've been around here long enough to know very much about my personality and my interests, you know that's a thing that's like dead center, like laser targeted to me. I love this game very much. I've 100%ed it like 3 times over, and bunch of new content, bunch of new giant robots and stuff. I am eager to do so again. So, if you've never heard of the game before, don't worry, you will not be left behind. I'll explain everything as we go. Let's just play some Into the Breach. I am very happy for an excuse to be back here. So, here's the downside. Humanity has been destroyed a little bit. The Mech threat, it turned out we couldn't stop it. Our mission to do so has failed, somewhat. But the good news is we have access to an awful lot of wild future technology that lets us let's maybe just go back and give that another go. Now, obviously, the problem they were having last time is that I was not in charge of the destruction of Earth, that I was not in charge of the robots. If you did task me with destroying a planet, I think I could probably screw that up pretty good, but this part I'm good at, the part where I drive giant robots around and make them destroy things. So, each campaign, we're going to have a time traveler, someone who has fought the Mech before in another timeline, come and guide our troops into actually successfully fighting them off in this timeline, probably. Or if not, you know, our time traveler will just bail on this one as they have on the previous ones, and we'll start a new timeline. So there are 3 mechs in a squad, and as you can see here, there are many different squads of mechs. We will unlock them over time by earning these coins, which we will do by getting achievements. Every squad has 3 achievements that each earn a coin. In addition, there are a bunch of global achievements that can be unlocked with anybody. We're going to worry about exactly what these are later. For right now, let's just play the game. We'll get the coins we're going to get. So here's our starting squad. Ralph Carlston, who gains extra bonus XP every time he kills a giant space bug, piloting a combat mech, and then we also have a cannon mech and an artillery mech. The game is super good about explaining how abilities work in tooltips, giving you little visual representations of all the abilities. So this thing punches and pushes enemies around. This thing shoots enemies, pushing them around. You can see at the bottom of the tooltip here, potential future upgrades. Right now, the tank cannon does 1 damage, but it can be upgraded further. And then this artillery mech that can shoot over obstructions, does damage, and pushes things around. There's a lot of do damage and push in this game in general, but in this squad in specific, because as you might imagine, each squad has sort of a particular gimmick. You can see the amount of health each mech has, the amount of tiles that it can move per turn, and I guess we should pay attention to our specific achievements here. So, drown 3 enemies in water in a single battle, kill an enemy 5 or more tiles away with the combat mech's dash punch, which is an ability we'll have to unlock, and complete the first island. This all seems extremely doable. So, advanced content. I would love all of the advanced content, please. Maximize my advanced content. So this is a new difficulty they've added to the top of the thing. I mean, let's try it, right? I definitely have beaten the game on hard. More Mech, stronger Mech, power grid defense starts lower. All power grid repairs are doubled. That doesn't seem so unfair. Yeah, let's give it a go. I love the art style of this game. I love the music of this game. Like, the mechanics are brilliant, and I absolutely am like way into the gameplay. But part of what makes this game so attractive to me is just like every piece of it works so well. It is such a good and complete design. So we have to save these 4 islands. As you could see, Ralph has strong feelings about not letting them be destroyed by giant bugs from outer space. Actually, I think the bugs are from the core of the Earth. Presumably they were from outer space at some point. Maybe they've always been here. Maybe we're the invaders. Maybe the true monster is man. I don't know. But the point is we got to save these islands. Right now we're only allowed to save this one. So, Archive Incorporated operates a museum island that recreates old Earth as it was before the oceans rose and nearly wiped out humanity. Gee, I wonder how that happened. We're doing all we can to protect the refugees, but we need your help against the Vec. We'll assist with some of our old Earth artifacts if we can. This guy's whole office is just old Earth wall to wall, except for that thing, which is very cool. There is a combat simulation available to get new commanders up to speed. I'm gonna, no thank you, I know what I'm doing. I'll explain it to y'all as we go here. So, the Vec are battling us across all of these areas of the island. You can see here, the 2 stars indicate 2 bonus objectives, each of which will earn us a star, which is a point of reputation with Archive Inc., which will allow us to purchase upgrades from them once we've actually saved the island. Once we've cleared an area, we'll be able to move into the adjacent areas. So what do we have here? There's a Vec threat detected at the dam. We have to destroy the dam and block Vec from spawning 3 times. Or we could go here, use 3 repair platforms while killing 6 or fewer enemies. Warning, bad repairs. I don't know what that means. Let's find out. I'm actually quite curious. Our engineers aren't used to your technology and may have damaged more than they fixed. You'll need to use the repair platforms in this region to keep your mechs together. Okay. Let's give it a go. You can see you get like a very thorough little mission preview here. These squares with red arrows on them indicate where Vec will spawn on the first turn. So our mechs are coming in really damaged. Only 1 health. Okay, that's a bummer. So let's talk about these enemy types. Right here we got the Soldier Scion. How do I... There we go. Hold control over a unit to see its text. As long as this thing is alive, all of the other Vec have +1 HP. This thing runs over and webs things into place and then attacks them. These ones, the purple things, the purple scorpions, are the same as this unit, but just with higher numbers. Their attack does 3 damage. They have more HP. And then this, the Firefly, is a ranged unit. So it's important to keep them from destroying our mechs. We can always get more mechs, but a destroyed mech is a dead pilot, and pilots are harder to replace. You can run a mech with just a simple AI, but it's just less effective. Also, you know, human deaths, bad, for obvious reasons. But also, in addition to protecting our mechs, we have to protect these buildings. You can see these civilian buildings are, first of all, full of people, and again, human deaths, broadly, not a great thing. But also, these buildings are part of the power grid. The more buildings get destroyed, the more screwed up the power grid gets, and if the power grid completely breaks, then the shield that is protecting the island to some degree breaks down entirely, and we lose the game. There will be so many Vecs that not even giant robots can solve the problem. I know that's a difficult concept to grasp, but it is a real thing. So, we have our pretty small deployment zone here. I'm going to... Here, we'll deploy like this. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. Alright, everybody's so happy to see us. I get it. I would be happy to see the giant robots as well. Okay. Problems. Immediately, problems. So, at the beginning of a round, the Vec make their movements and sort of declare intent. Then, we get our turn. Every one of our mechs can move and attack. And then, after we've done everything, if I hold Alt here, you can see the order of events. The enemies will go, we can see what order they will go in. They roughly maintain their intent. So we know, by knowing approximately what they will do, we can have some idea how to stop them, right? For example, we could put something heavy on this tile to prevent the Vec that is down there from burrowing up into the world. And I definitely think we're about to do that. So we have to kill 6 or fewer enemies in total, but we definitely do need to lower the number of enemies for obvious reasons. All right. One thing that is fairly obvious is that if we could slide this Vec down to here, we would both prevent this attack from occurring, we'd save some buildings, and we'd also block the spawn of that unit. That feels like a pretty important thing to do. And the most obvious way to do that is to have Ori here drop a shot on this tile. Here we go. This is the tooltip I want. Ori's attack deals damage where it lands and pushes all of the adjacent tiles away from the landing zone. So I'm gonna try to put myself in a position where I won't be in too much danger. I guess I could take that shot from over here. We can get a repair, both for the purposes of making our mech functional and for the purposes of accomplishing objectives. If I take the shot like this, we're not really doing much to protect these buildings, but we are pushing the combat mech onto a repair tile as well. I'm going to go ahead and do this to start with. How much health do you have? 4? Gosh. It might take me a little bit to get my sea legs back here, so to speak. So apologies. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. All right. Get ourselves a little bit of repair work. So this thing's going to do 3 damage and completely destroy those buildings. This thing's going to do 1 damage and destroy one of those, unless we can do something about it. I'm not certain that we can, frankly. Let's see, even if I killed this thing, we'd have to do 3 damage to this to break it. I don't really have a good way of pushing it either. We can push it. Yeah, we're gonna take some building damage here for sure. I'm kind of thinking maybe we just kill the soldier scion with the combat mech right now. Maybe that's a thing that we just got to do. So you can see up here the amount of power left in the power grid, reduced every time a powered building is damaged in combat. There is this grid defense percentage that gives us a chance of resisting damage on a building. On this difficulty, it starts at 0. Which is fine, because really, like, if it's a low number, you kind of have to behave as though it is 0 anyway, right? This thing has so much health that there's no way we could possibly kill it in order to open up the space that it's in for something to stand in. Because if we could open up this space, obviously, like, moving the combat mech to here and then pushing this thing down by punching it very hard would be an option. I'm going to put the combat mech back where it was. We're going to punch this guy. I'm going to hit him from this side because we're going to do 2 damage and also shove. And when large objects, enemies, mechs, whatever, are shoved into each other, they both take damage. So the soldier scion would die either way, but this thing will take a point of damage from having a corpse hurled at it at very high speed. Just sort of softening it up a little bit. And then we've taken that bonus HP off of everything, but still pretty much a nightmare. I'm going to have the tank drive down here. We're going to take this shot. So again, 1 damage plus 1 damage to each of them because they're getting knocked into each other. And we're just going to eat 3 damage to the power grid. I don't love that. So you can see enemies that are moved off target do still perform whatever their action was. Oh, the Vec can use the repair platforms. Surprising. Okay. So how do we want to handle that? Obviously, Ralph Carlson can just punch his way free of this problem. I don't know if I think that's the best answer, though. Because we are webbed, he cannot just move. But he can move if we break him free of his position here. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and just drop an artillery shot right there. Okay, so Ralph's free to move. This thing is now attacking a mountain for 3 damage, which is fine. This thing's attack will just hard miss. All of that stuff's great. We're going to have to allow this spawn, I think, because I think the way we're going to deal with this turn is punch this vac onto that tile. Now it will block the spawner, and as you saw last time, when something blocks a spawn, it takes damage, so this will die. I would like to move the tank onto here and shoot this thing to push it away from damaging more buildings, but if we do that, our tank pilot will die, which obviously is not acceptable to me, so let's go ahead and park here in the forest, shove you out of the way, and this turn's pretty safe. We kill 1 enemy, we prevent 1 more spawn. So you'll notice, kill 6 or fewer enemies would be a really weird objective in a lot of strategy games, because usually the way that you win a game is by killing everything, right? In this game, all we have to do is buy time until whatever. For some reason, for whatever reason, the Vec flee after a certain amount of time in an area. Maybe it's the island's defenses getting back online in some way. You know, maybe we have figured out a way to drive them off, spooky noises or something. Maybe they just don't like to stay in one place for too long. We don't really need to know why. All we need to know is that it happens. So, we gotta survive for 3 turns. And by survive, I mean protect the power grid. Obviously, if all of us were to die, that would also be bad. Alright, so a lot of missed attacks. We lose 1 enemy, we gain 1 enemy. And we have a couple of enemies who are really low on health. So it should, in theory, be pretty possible to clear some of this stuff up. Alright, how do I manage this turn? This thing only has 1 HP, so we could certainly solve this problem by killing it. But I really don't want to take any more grid damage, for obvious reasons, I hope. Let's see. This thing only has 1 HP as well. We can absolutely just kill it. It's worth noting, though, were I to, say, drive the tank down to here and shoot this, pushing the body into the building will damage the building. So we have to be pretty cautious how we approach that attack. It's also worth noting that if I just step the tank out of the way, this thing will still attack in this direction and it will hit the other Vec, which is, at the very least, funny. For the same reason, it's not really a good idea to have Ralph Carlson punch this thing, because it would destroy that building. So what I think we're going to do is, I think we're going to have the tank kill this Vec. I still need to use 1 more repair platform before the end of the mission, ideally. Yeah. I'm going to have the tank kill this Vec, just to buy us a little bit of space to work with. You can see whenever a unit kills a Vec, the unit gets XP. I'm going to have our combat mech run over and punch this thing away from the building. We're going to absorb a point of damage, which we absolutely can do. We have 3 health. It's fine. Plus, that's a lot of damage. That's good to do. Also, we can move the artillery mech onto here using a 3rd repair platform, finishing that objective. We'll just kill this guy. That's only the 4th kill. I'm relatively confident we can keep our total number of dead Vec down. Well, hold on. Actually, maybe that's not the right move. I was going to kill this thing, but I wonder if it's better to drop the shot here, just pushing this thing to safety, because doing that blocks another spawn. There's only one more turn after this. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. Let's just minimize the number of enemies. Well, it's like kill one. It doesn't actually change the number of enemies, but it does mean one of the remaining enemies has 1 HP. We can afford to take the 1 point of damage. Health is a resource, right? I do like this play better. It does mean that we haven't finished the repair platform objective, so we're going to have to do that next turn if we want the star. But I think this is a better situation overall for actually completing the mission. And mission completion probably should be a little bit more primary. Bonus objectives are cool, but they are bonus objectives. Okay, so. How do we want to do this? I think now I step here. Finish that bonus objective. Take this shot. Now this one's just shooting into the behind of one of those. The combat mech still has 2 HP. So we're going to use the tank to save this building. And then we're going to have the combat mech just eat a shot. And then you may as well giant robot punch stuff, because it's cool to giant robot punch stuff. Actually, this thing will die if we do that. 5th enemy. Enemies dying is broadly good, even though we have to keep the number low, because every time an enemy dies, we get some XP. What's going to happen here is this enemy is going to die because of being attacked by another one. Oh, and actually, because of the order the enemies are acting in, that will prevent the combat mech from even taking a hit, because this thing will die before its turn comes up. So that's good in a bunch of different ways. If an enemy unit dies not due to the direct actions of one particular mech, the XP gets spread over the team. You can see +1 for everybody. Hey, that's a pretty clean victory, except for the part where we lost 3 power. We did get both of our stars. We saved many people, not everyone, but the troops of Old Earth would have been proud if only they'd been here to see it. Okay, region secured, and we've opened up some new stuff. So, you can see here a couple of power upgrades. If we can manage to protect particular important power buildings, seems pretty critical. Let's go down to the Archivist Hall. This will open up the largest amount of future missions. I want to have some versatility available here. So an offshore volcano is causing tidal waves along the coast. May help wash away the Vec threatening the area. The map will gradually be flooded in water, which is probably something we can deal with. So kill at least 7. Here, we want to kill as many as we can. Don't let them blow up the power plant. So lots of Fireflies this time, and a new enemy type, the Hornet. Hornets just fly over and stab you. They're fast-moving, they're harder to block, but also their attack is a lot less intimidating. They don't prevent you from moving around. I don't exactly know. Here, I guess we'll set up like this. This time we come in at full health, which is nice. Oh, is that one of those pods you were talking about? Oh, that pod's from another timeline. It may have weapons we can use. So, if we can either grab the pod or simply keep it alive until the end of the mission, there'll be a reward in there that obviously would be pretty cool to have. If it takes damage, like an attack goes across it or something, it will be destroyed. It'll also be destroyed if enemies choose to move on to it, but I think they won't move on to it by themselves, but like if we push them onto it, that'll happen. So we do have to be wary of that. I don't know how we're going to deal with this. This is a problem. So if we hold Alt here, we can see the environment will act before all of the enemies. Every one of these tiles will sink into the ocean. Not a problem for the Hornet, not a problem for any unit with the massive trait. Massive units can walk in water but cannot attack or repair while they are partially submerged. But anything that doesn't have either flying or massive will drown in the ocean. That means we can, in fact, lose our tanks, and also any enemy that's on one of these tiles is out of play. So a thing we totally could do is drop an artillery shot here, moving this enemy to that tile. It will cease to exist before it even gets its turn. However, I don't think that actually solves too much for us. Right, we still have this 3 damage attack coming through. These alpha bugs that do 3 damage will kill any one of our units in a single hit. Also, I would love to save the time pod. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not my most primary concern, but it is a concern. How are we going to deal with you? A thing I would really love to do is to get these two to just shoot at each other. Like if we use the tank to push this one back here, and then we use the artillery unit to deliver a shot there, we could slide them so they're facing each other and firing 3 damage directly into each other's open mouths. And I think that's probably pretty good play. If we do that, though, I don't know how we stop this Hornet from destroying a building. None of our units are in position due to the way I set them up. To be clear, this is my fault. None of our units are in position to deliver the pushes and pulls, except for the ones that would do it exactly the way we just said. I could move the tank back to here, I suppose, to open up my ability to move on this axis. We take this shot. We can afford to take 1 hit to a building. It's not actually totally disqualifying. So that gets those ones damaging each other and also saves the time pod, which is, you know, just good. And then, like, what do I want to do with the combat mech? A thing we can do is stand here and punch this guy. 2 damage plus 1 damage from the push will also do 1 damage to the soldier scion, so it's very easy to bring down next turn. We just let this building go down because I don't think I can stop it. And it also means that the Firefly deals 1 damage to the Hornet, softens a lot of enemies up. It doesn't prevent this spawn, which is a shame. We'll have to move the combat mech before the combat mech can do anything next turn, but I think that's fine. We probably would have had to either way. I think this is my plan. All right, no more building damage after this. Pretty important. Oh, right. Fire. I forgot about this. So, tiles that are forested catch fire when they take damage. Oh, this worked out really well, actually. Yeah, tiles that are on fire, or tiles that are forested, catch fire when they take damage. A unit that is standing in fire becomes on fire, and being on fire causes them to take 1 damage at the start of every enemy turn sequence. Like after we hit enter, it'll take 1 damage, which means this thing will actually die by itself. We don't have to do anything if we kill the soldier scion, which is a relatively high value move. So this thing's not doing anything. We're actually in super good shape, if I'm not mistaken here, because when the tidal environment move happens, it's going to kill all 3 of these fireflies. The mech stands up here, kills that firefly trivially. The artillery mech can drop a point of damage right here just to kill this thing. The soldier scion flies, so it won't die from the water, so we do have to kill it manually. You'll be dead. You'll be dead. Yeah, like, that seems pretty good to me. This turn seems gentle. Let's do that. It doesn't matter what the... Oh, right. We killed that thing by pushing it into a fire. Or no, sorry. We killed that thing because it only had 1 HP left, didn't it? Whatever. It's not important how it died. What's important is that it died. This thing only has 2 HP. So we splatter that. You're going to die to the fire. I guess there is a question here of whether we want it to die to the fire and spread its HP out over people, or whether we want the cannon mech's pilot to take it down. A thing we haven't really talked about is XP. When pilots hit XP thresholds, they gain a level. And what gain a level in this game means is they gain a trait. These traits are pretty powerful. It's probably a good idea to just take this with... Well, would I rather... I guess the question is, would I rather reposition the tank? I think I would rather reposition the tank. Do I want to push this thing into the ocean with the tank, which is a thing we do have a moment available to do here? I think so. It's really easy for Ralph to level up. Let's put some... Okay, great, Ralph. Thank you. That is how drowning works. Yeah, let's try to do whatever we can to get XP on the other pilots. So fire damage kills you, the water kills you, and that means that we win. No enemies are spawning because it would be too late. So actually, we didn't kill enough enemies because we didn't kill enough enemies total on the mission, because we didn't kill enough enemies on the first turn, so there wasn't enough room for more stuff to spawn. So that's a star failed, but we get our time pod, we get a net +1 power, which is important. And I don't know, just don't stand in the water, I guess. Yeah, no, we're good. We can just end the turn. Okay, successful-ish. Pretty successful-ish is what that was. Alright, you let some of the Vex scurry back to their underground hives. Unfortunately, they'll emerge again soon and attack another region. He is mad. He is not giving us reputation. But we did recover this pod, and inside was a reactor core. That's actually pretty cool. Alright, let's talk about reactor cores. So, you can see here, we can improve our mechs by gaining various abilities or just raw stat points. But we have to fill in these little power bubbles to do so. And the way we do that is by installing further reactor cores. So, do any of our mechs have critically important... Okay. For a single reactor worth of power, we can make it so that the Artemis artillery cannon no longer damages buildings, allowing us to more easily push enemies away from them. I actually do really like that. I think there's something to be said for buying a health upgrade on either the Brute Cannon Mech or the Prime Combat Mech, because +2 health would allow them to survive one hit from an Alpha Vac. But also, you know, what if we just didn't get hit? What if instead of that, I just don't take any hits? I'm going to go ahead and install the reactor here. We're going to power the building's immune upgrade, and you can dynamically shift power around within a mech. So if we decide later that we would like to install 2 more reactors, undo this, and power up the +2 damage instead, that's the thing we will have access to. Also, there's a virtual simulator to test your upgrades, apparently. I did not realize that. That's cool. So take less than 3 grid damage, protect the emergency batteries. Well, the good news is take less than 3 grid damage is free, because if we took 3 grid damage, we would lose anyway. I do feel like we should get some more grid. Like, we need power repairs. This is defend the artillery support. Okay, so there will be a support unit here, which might make this a little bit easier. Let's go after Colonial Park here. Oh hey, mines. Old Earth proximity mines are buried in this region from hundreds of years ago. We were slowly disarming them, but then we thought, why not use them against the Vec? Seems solid to me. So, pretty important that we don't have any of our units and their turn on top of a mine. But if we put our units in places where the Vec might be convinced to step on a mine to try to attack us. That could be pretty high value. I guess... yeah, let's try this. I'm hoping that we'll draw this scorpion to right here. I don't know if the Vec know about the mines. We might be able to just convince them to walk directly onto them. Obviously, the flying Vec will be safe from that. Oh, never mind. The flying Vec are not safe from that. That does not work that way. Okay. So, let's talk about this thing. This is a real bummer. The Alpha Hornet has a 2-tile attack, which means this one's actually in position to do something pretty scary. And if we push it upward, it will still destroy a building. It's pretty easy for the cannon mech to push this thing onto a mine, which rules. I'm not so worried about the Firefly. We don't need to kill this as badly. I think scorpions are broadly much more annoying. If we drop a shot right here, we can get the Alpha Firefly, if we, artillery-wise, drop a shot right here, we can get the Alpha Firefly to kill the Soldier Scion for us while also setting this unit on fire, which is a lot of fun. But I don't know how, in that case, I don't know how we deal with this. I do love making the enemies kill each other. It is one of the best things about this game. Could we just get 4 damage on it? Is there a way that I can... no, I don't think so. I do not think there's a way we can just kill it. What else would the tank do? I mean, as much as I want this thing to kill the Soldier Scion, it's not critically important that we do anything to the Alpha Firefly, because if I just move out of the way, it's not hitting anything. A thing that is worth noting for planning purposes is that we cannot fire the artillery unit at a space that is adjacent to the artillery unit. It needs more room than that, which prevents me from being able to move here and bounce this guy downward. If I punch the Alpha Hornet to here, no, I can't really do that. I was gonna say if we could somehow do a combination of pushes that gets the Alpha Hornet to here, then it's no longer a threat. But that's not actually an option. We might have to accept a little bit of building damage. I do not want building damage, but we might not be able to prevent it. And I do think that this is a very high value as a strategy. The combat mech just kind of doesn't have anything to do. Gosh, if our combat mech had one more point of movement, it could just walk around the thing and shove it from that side. I guess what we can do is we can have the combat mech punch it now just to soften it up for next turn, then have the artillery mech stand here, take the shot. This mech just absorbs the hit from the Firefly. I don't know. Maybe it's better to have the artillery mech just stand here, let the Firefly shoot the Hornet. I guess what I like about this plan is that I think it incentivizes the Hornet to turn and attack this way because it gets a double target attack, and then we just move away and we don't have to worry about it for a turn. I don't know for sure that that's what it will do, but it might actually work that way. Sure would be nice if it did. All right, so we get some fire damage. We get that, which is cool. That is very unfortunate. Grid is rapidly approaching 0. I had noticed. Thank you. Cowardice. Okay. These Alpha Scorpions still only attack one tile, right? Yes, the tank can just push this thing off. This guy's gonna die to fire damage at the beginning of the turn. Total non-issue. It's pretty easy to push this thing into the water. I don't think we have to do a ton here. Yeah, right, the combat mech comes up here. The mine wasn't necessary. We did have just raw lethal damage there. Is there a reason to do this in a different way? No, I don't think so. We just drop a shot right here, pushing that guy into the ocean, which rules. And then, yeah, you rescue yourself. That's acceptable. It does mean that we get 2 more enemy spawns, but that'll only mean 3 total enemies on the table. We can probably work with that. Okay, so managed to catch yourself on fire by standing in that forest. The enemies are not super careful, generally. So we could drop an artillery shot right here, blocking a spawn with this vac. I could do it by standing here. We could block another spawn, actually. That's pretty good. And then after we've done that, this thing still has 3 HP. I probably actually need to play that a little bit differently. How do I want to solve that? Like pushing the Alpha Scorpion to this tile makes its attack irrelevant, which would be pretty good. So if I move the tank to here, drop an artillery shot right there, the artillery mech can just tank the damage from the Firefly just fine, and then the tank can shoot the Alpha Scorpion onto the mine. The combat mech just runs forward to be in a better position for next turn. That leaves us with... It does still leave us with an awful lot of enemies in total that we have to worry about next round. There will be 5 Vec. I think it's okay, though. And I think getting rid of the Alpha Scorpion is a high enough priority. There's no way I could actually kill it, is there? No, it just has too damn much health. What's the enemy turn order? This thing's early. I mean, sorry, I can just push it to here, right? It's not a Firefly. It has a melee attack. If I push it to here, it does not do damage to the building. It absorbs fire from this thing. That's actually pretty... That's pretty good. So push it to here. And then actually, if I move the artillery unit to this tile and attack right there, we block 2 spawns. It means this thing's point of damage is no longer going into the side of that Vec, but the Alpha Vec is still taking a point of damage from spawn blocking. And then, yeah, Ralph Carlson does in fact take damage. It's fine. We have a turn here where we don't need to take any specific action, which means we can repair. Repairs 1 damage, removes status effects. Okay. Everything that's on the table takes some hits. We get another Alpha Hornet, which I don't love, but this is very fixable. Okay. What's the best way to deal with this? I mean, actually, I think it's pretty simple. The tank firing here kills this thing, does 1 damage to that bug which is on fire, which will then die from the fire damage at the beginning of their turn. The combat mech just punches itself free, and the cannon mech just slides this thing over one tile. Doesn't really matter where. I would love to drop an artillery shot here, which we actually can do, because I can move to that space. So yeah, this is a pretty simple cleanup. Get ourselves some good mech kills, or sorry, Vec kills. So if I stand here, drop an artillery shot there. Boom, perfect. Looks like Old Earth still has some surprises for the Vec. I am very surprised that those proximity mines explode in a large enough way to damage a giant flying unit, but whatever, it's cool, it's fine. And I'm right about this, right? Yes, the fire will kill this thing. Okay. All right, we earned ourselves some level ups there. And again, net 1 power gain. It's something. Okay, new skill unlocked, conservative. Limited use weapons are given +1 use. Interesting. Obviously, that doesn't do anything for us right now. We don't have any limited use weapons, but we may find some. And our artillery pilot... wait, this is the tank pilot. +2 move when not at full health. That's not what masochism is, unless this is intended to convey excitement. I'm so pumped up from how injured I am. Yeah, okay, that's fine. These are not great skills, I think. This one might end up being super good once we actually have a piece of equipment that is powerful enough to warrant its use. So, we are going to get one more fight on this island before the boss battle. Let's take on Antiquity Row, because I do want to keep buffing up the power grid. We got to recover a little bit here. Our technicians recently got an Old Earth artillery battery up and running. Please make sure it survives the fight. Okay, so we have here a unit that does 2 damage to 2 different tiles. That's actually really good. Am I allowed to reposition that? I am not. Okay, it has 1 movement and it's in like a profoundly terrible place. We are going to have to make use of our own artillery to put stuff in a position where it can even be affected by that. So, the initial position of our units does inform the position of the enemies quite significantly, right? I'm gonna do this. My hope is to try to draw this hornet like up to here, where the artillery unit could step to there and shoot at it potentially. We'll see how that works. And I'm trying to give my artillery cannon a nice clean axis to move along. Okay, artillery unit can deal with that. This is something of a problem, though. So the artillery unit can kill this thing, but it doesn't have to. It's worth noting, if we have our actual artillery unit move to here, bounce the Hornet into this tile, the Alpha Hornet goes before the normal Hornet and would simply kill the normal Hornet. Or no, it wouldn't. Sorry, it only does 2 damage. Sheer attack only does 2 damage as well. So actually we have to do both of those things to kill this Hornet. I don't love that. Another thing I could do. I don't know if we have a way of stopping this attack from happening, unfortunately. Okay, another thing I could do. I could drive the tank up to here. Just push this into the nowhere space, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. It's problematic. Because I want the artillery unit. The only way to stop this attack from actually hitting something would be to move something in front of it, which we can't quite do. Well, I suppose I sort of can. Okay, if I move a unit to right here, and then I drop the artillery shot in that tile, then... yeah, let me So we're going to put this thing in a position where it is not harming any buildings. Then I'm going to drop an artillery shot right here, which will block the spawn with the soldier scion, also incidentally reducing it to 1 health. We'll block the Firefly's attack with the tank, both protecting a building and turning on the tank's extra movement from masochism. And then we just... all Ralph has to do is just punch this thing. And now this unit dies immediately if the soldier scion ever dies, and it's about to only have 1 HP. So I actually really like that. And then we have a question of what do we want to do with the artillery support? I think the answer is move it back here so we can get it onto this axis. And does it shoot this thing or this thing? Obviously, this guy's a greater threat. I think we want to shoot this one. I just want to get... oh, I should have shot that differently. I should have shot this tile so that this isn't a safe avenue of attack for them. Yeah, that's an error, but it's not a huge error. We do get 1 turn reset using our amazing time travel technology to go back to the beginning of my turn. I am going to choose not to spend that to correct this because we may find we have bigger problems later. Oh, right, he was going to attack that tile anyway, actually. Never mind, it wasn't even an error, it was fine. Okay, so... definitely feels very strong to just have the tank shoot this thing here. I can have the tank block this tile. We do have to deal with this guy. So when the soldier scion dies, it's going to immediately kill this unit. It's also going to reduce this unit to 1 health, which means that we could just shoot it with the artillery cannon. We just have the artillery mech move to here and drop a bullet directly on its head. It will just die. I don't think the support artillery has a useful thing to do this turn, but that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we're gonna move you to here, where you will presumably be more helpful later. You're gonna take this shot. You're gonna move to here. Finish this nerd off. The tank is just going to eat another hit. That's fine. And we're just gonna kill you straight up. See no reason to do anything else. And then, you know what? I am going to start a fire down here. We may as well light that forest. Just make things a little bit more inhospitable on the Vec side of the table. Gosh, that's a few enemies. What is the attack order? You're first, huh? Well, that's not a big deal. Obviously, there's a lot of ways to kill this thing. You're gonna move to here and just try to be ready to do something of value next turn. So a shot right there kills this unit and makes this unit not actually a threat to us anymore. However, I think I would rather block a spawn with it. So if we like... if we move you to here and take this shot, we can block that spawn. I just push you into the open, or into the ocean. You should probably get down here somewhere and actually participate in the battle. You don't have anything to do, but there's nothing we can do about that. Okay, I think that's a reasonable setup. So we're going to have 4 enemies to deal with on the final turn. But I think our units are reasonably well positioned. One of them is going to be on fire already, which is cool, although it's an alpha enemy, so it's probably not going to die anyway. Okay, I like a lot of what we're seeing here. So first of all, the artillery support unit doesn't really get to do anything. If I take an artillery shot right here, it solves two problems. Excuse me. Yeah, let's free the tank. We're going to just punch this thing to a position where it's not doing any damage. And then, you know what? The artillery support unit does get to contribute. We could have also resolved that by just moving the tank in front of it and doing a repair, but obviously that doesn't get us experience. Alright, that was actually a really clean mission. I'm feeling pretty good about that. And we got a promotion on our third unit. We actually did gain 2 power there. We protected everybody. Leave the artillery battery manned and ready in case the Mech decide to return. Yeah, it does seem like a pretty powerful... I would actually really love to have the ability to do 2 damage with my artillery attack. So if I could borrow that cannon, it would be super nice. +1 move per Mech killed in a battle. That's interesting. My hope is that it will include Mech that are pushed into the ocean. If it does, then that seems great for the artillery unit to have. All right. Corporate HQ is under attack. Some kind of Mech abomination is approaching our headquarters. Whatever it is, it must be stopped. So we have to protect the corporate tower, which is actually in a really good position with that mountain. And we have to try to destroy the Firefly leader. This thing has a huge amount of health. It has a super powerful attack. This is going to be a nightmare. I'm going to tell you straight up. This is going to be a nightmare. If I put a unit here, we are incentivizing the Alpha Hornet to move to this tile and attack. If we don't do that, it will probably move here and attack. How much movement does it have? Oh, it has 5 move. Never mind. I don't get to determine anything about what the Alpha Hornet does. It will go where it wants. I'm going to do something like this. This really sucks. We have a very limited ability to deploy here. Do I want to deploy the artillery mech back here and have it moving around on this line? I don't love it being so close to things. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to... Gosh, I hope this doesn't turn out to be a mistake. I'm going to do it on this side. It is really nice to have it away from the action, you know? Okay, so here's how the Alpha Firefly works. It does horrible, horrible things. It fires in 2 different directions when it attacks, and it's just generally a nightmare. It will also always go first, and its attack deals 4 damage. However, as scary as that sounds, we can definitely use it to our advantage, because that makes the Alpha Mech extremely good at cleaning up other Mech, and it always acts before they do. So that actually kind of rules. I don't really want to move it. I'm not sure what I want to do with the tank here. So obviously, like, I'm very compelled to just punch this thing into that tile. I think that's for sure the right move. So you're going to kill this guy before he attacks. I guess I can do some damage to the soldier scion. That's useful. We should try to get this thing into a position where it can die. You're going to block the only spawn. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that as a first turn. Why are we listening to these things again? They seem profoundly bad at tactics and strategy. You know, you're not wrong. Okay, so the Super Mech has put itself in a position where it is accomplishing nothing, which I love for it. I think we're going to... how do I want to deal with this? You're almost dead. Like, we move the artillery to here, push it away from the corporate tower, and have it kill another bug. You... I should punch that after I kill the soldier scion. Well, should I? Hold on. If I throw the punch now and then kill the soldier scion, the XP for this thing's death will get spread over the team. If I kill the soldier scion first, it will actually be the punch that kills the Alpha Hornet, and so Ralph will get all the XP. And I guess the question is just, do I think it's more valuable to get XP on the teammates who are less good at getting it, or do I think it's more valuable to try to get Ralph leveled up and get his other trait unlocked? I think I'm going to go for let's get traits unlocked as quickly as we can. So you throw the lethal punch. Yeah. Now, actually, killing the Firefly leader is a star. It is something we want to do, and the thing has a ton of health. So I should probably start taking that a little bit more seriously. Oof. We're going to have to deal some damage to this thing sometimes. How do I want to manage that? Pushing it into the corner with this artillery attack is going to basically guarantee that we never kill it. I can block a spawn and push the Hornet into the corner, which is like, it's not exciting, it's fine. Yeah, I think we're probably just not actually going to kill the leader, and that's fine. Oh, you're attacking downward. You know, I was thinking that the red, for some reason, the red attack indicator underneath this had me thinking that this thing was attacking in that direction, that I would be able to push it to here and have it deal damage to the Hornet. That not being the case, does that change anything about my play? I don't think so. I don't think it's worth spending the reset. I think I do, in fact, just shove you into the corner. Try to get you in a position where you are the least amount of a threat. So we have 5 live enemies, 2 of them alpha and 1 of them a leader on the final turn. It's a little scary. Okay, this is easy to solve at least. So if I drop a shot... Yeah, if we drop a shot directly on top of the tank, which the tank has enough HP to survive, then this guy eats the Firefly leader's attack. These two just do nothing. They become harmless. Actually, this one doesn't have anywhere to get pushed. I'm not sure if that will break the webbing or not. Well, if it doesn't, we can use this unit to rescue the tank, so it's fine either way. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, it doesn't break the webbing. However, and then thanks to the tank's movement bonus, I would have loved to kill this thing. Preventing it from dealing damage, preventing it from dealing 4 damage, will just have to be good enough. The Firefly leader has done some excellent, excellent work. And there we go. Easy. It turns out video games are easy. Who knew? I did almost lose. We came remarkably close to losing, and I didn't really do that well on reputation here, which is going to have a cost, as we see in a moment. With the Abomination still alive, the Vec remain a serious threat to the region. I hope you find more success on the other islands. Look at that. Look at the judgment. Look at the judgmental eyebrows he's giving us right now. Do you know how many people's lives I saved? It was several. Not everyone, obviously, but most of them. All right, so we are now allowed to raid their stores. We can sell off, donate, quotation marks, donate stuff that we already have for more reputation. Obviously, we need all of this stuff. So we can buy grid power, or if your grid is all the way powered up, instead trade stars directly for percentage of grid defense, which is cool. We can purchase reactor cores, obviously great. Networked shielding. Mechs cannot take damage during the player turn. Oh, interesting. There are a lot of squads where I think this would be pretty good. I don't know that this squad is one of them, although network shielding would make it safer for us to drop artillery shells directly on top of our own units. Mechs get the bonuses from the Vex Scion. This is interesting. There are different Vex Scions on different islands. They're not always just plus HP. There are places where that is potentially pretty compelling. I think maybe we buy a psionic receiver and also a reactor core. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so for that psionic receiver to be functional, it has to be installed. Somebody's got to be holding it. But yeah, that'll do for that. And what do we want to do with this reactor core? Maybe I want to throw it in here and just use it as +1 move for the moment. Positioning for the artillery mech obviously is tremendously important, but what we're actually doing is we're building toward 3 damage. I like that. For now, this power goes here. When we get another reactor, we may very well turn off both of those things and just go to 3 damage. Okay. We can get a +1 damage for 2. Should I have done that? Should I have put that core in the tank? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's go ahead and bail on this island. That's a pretty successful island, a qualified success. We call it a partial. By completing one island, we've unlocked another one, and in future games, you can visit your unlocked islands in any order. We do have to finish more stuff to unlock the rest of them, and we're absolutely going to do that next time. For now, I think that was a pretty solid episode. My intention here is roughly an hour of gameplay every weekday until we have saved all of the Earths from all of the Vec. Probably, maybe, we'll see. So come back next time tomorrow for that, and we'll see you then.